Hello my friends, Amy Esther here with another video, and today we are talking about the super fun subject of IBS or Irritable Bowel Syndrome. Who doesn't want to talk about that? That sounds fun. We're going to learn all the things about it today. And if you guys haven't been here before, my name is Amy Esther. I have several chronic illnesses, of course including IBS and several other things going on. You can learn all about it in the links below. There's just so much information about all my chronic illnesses because I got a lot going on over here. So if you want to learn more about that, you can subscribe to my channel. Head over to my Instagram, follow me over there because I talk all about life with chronic illness here on YouTube and on Instagram. And I would love to share any of the knowledge, the tips, and the tricks that I learn with you guys. Today we are talking about IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome. So first of all, what the heck is IBS? IBS is basically, in the simplest terms, having digestive pain, digestive issues, and having no other cause for it. That's kind of the simplest way to explain it. There's no test to take to tell if you have IBS. The only way to get a diagnosis of IBS is by symptoms and ruling out other things. So IBS can be kind of frustrating because you don't just get a blood test and say, yep, IBS, nope, you don't have it. You don't get a CT scan and it tells you yes or no. It's just you've tested all these other things. So you would have had to test, maybe get a stomach scope and a colonoscopy and a CT scan, and those showed no results or no helpful results. And you've been tested for celiac disease and Crohn's disease and just all these different things you've been tested for. Nothing's coming up helpful or useful. Then typically you're diagnosed with IBS. So I think it's a really frustrating thing to get diagnosed with, even though it's totally a real thing. So many people have it, but it's frustrating that there's not a real test for it, because sometimes to me, diagnoses like this make me feel like my doctor's giving up on me. They couldn't figure it out. And I feel like sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not true though. Sometimes it really is IBS. And for me, I have some other stomach issues going on, but I've still been diagnosed with IBS, even though there are some other things going on, just because the treatment for those things doesn't always work the way that it's supposed to. So my doctors have said, you know what, I still think you have IBS, along with these other things. So it could also be something like that, where you do have some other things going on, but you still have IBS. And even if you were to cure all the things, all the extra things going on, you still will have stomach digestive issues. And IBS is just so common. There are so many people out there who have it. And I feel like it sometimes gets dismissed as this not that big of a deal thing, but it can be really painful and frustrating, and it can be really hard things to deal with. So some of the symptoms that you might experience if you have IBS would be any kind of digestive pain, abdominal pain after eating. So you might have pain in your upper left side of your stomach, just right after you eat, or if it's been too long since you've eaten, or just any random time throughout the day. You also usually have some cramping and pain as your food moves through your small and large intestine, cramping and pain before you have to use the bathroom. You usually have all the bathroom issues, constipation, diarrhea. Any kind of abnormal bowel habit would be a symptom of IBS. Indigestion, nausea, excessive gas, urgency to use the bathroom, loss of appetite, and really just any kind of discomfort when it comes to eating or digesting food. Any discomfort there is typically a symptom of IBS. So in order to treat IBS, there's a lot of different things that you can try and do, and I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all treatment for IBS. I think we're all different. I think certain times in our lives, some things might work. Other times, they might not work at all. I know there's been times where I've done diets that totally made me feel better, and then I do the same diet later and it doesn't even work. So I feel like there's no one-size-fits-all treatment for IBS, but there are a lot of things you can try. The first thing I would recommend before you try anything is make sure you've been tested for a small intestine bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO. SIBO is kind of hard to diagnose because there's a very specific test you have to take to diagnose it. and it's a hydrogen breath test. And so you have to make sure you get that specific test done in order to test for SIBO. And SIBO can cause lots of bloating and stomach issues. I actually have a whole video about the symptoms of SIBO. I will leave it down below, and you can learn a little bit more about SIBO, see if that's something that you want to discuss with your doctor. But I would definitely make sure you've been tested for that, because it often mimics IBS. And if you don't test specifically for it, then you won't get the answer. It's not just kind of a generic blood test. It's not just you get a stomach scope and you can say, with a stomach scope you can say a lot of different things, but it doesn't show SIBO. So anyway, point is, you have to get that specific test. So I'd make sure you get tested for SIBO, because I know so many people who got diagnosed with IBS, and then they found out the whole time they had SIBO. And there are some other ways you can treat SIBO that are different than the way you're treating IBS. And so they were able to find some relief by treating their SIBO. Now, I personally have SIBO, but I still also have IBS. So, it's really fun over here. But I would definitely get tested for that first. And with that, you can take antibiotics. There's lots of different things you can try for that, but that's for another video. Other ways you can treat your IBS is by your diet. A lot of people find success with the low FODMAP diet. It takes out highly fermentable foods, which are basically foods that take longer to digest. They're harder to digest. And so it takes those foods out, and so it can cause some relief in symptoms. For me, the low FODMAP diet definitely helps my symptoms. The one issue I have with it is it's not a fix, and it's kind of a hard long-term diet because it takes out a lot of fruits and vegetables, which are really healthy for you. The rest of your body needs those, like broccoli and cauliflower. All of those things are really healthy for the rest of your body. So it's a little bit hard in that way that it does take out some really healthy, good things for your body as well. But if you're just struggling with symptoms and you need a little break from them, definitely try the low FODMAP diet. If you're struggling with constipation, make sure you have a high fiber diet. You need to drink lots and lots of water. Make sure you're well hydrated. And then if you're struggling with the opposite, with diarrhea, then anti-diarrhea medications. I would try different foods, see if there's certain triggers that are causing your certain symptoms. And then there's lots of other medications. I've tried, just like basic abdominal pain medication that's just supposed to help stomach pain. You can take laxatives, anti-diarrheal medications like we talked about. There's lots of different things that your doctor might try, so I'm not going to go through the whole list, but it just really depends on what type of IBS you have. What's your most severe symptom? Is it the stomach cramping? Is it, the bathroom issues? What is causing you the most suffering? Your treatment's going to depend on that, but I do think no matter what, diet is going to play a big role. If you're eating really crappy, if you're eating a lot of sugar and processed foods, that's just not going to be good on your digestive system. Eating foods that are less prone to inflammation can help. Something like the AIP diet. AIP is the autoimmune protocol diet. It's made for people with autoimmune disease, but it takes out foods that cause a lot of inflammation, basically. So it's not an easy diet. It's pretty restrictive, but that's something you could try because you might just have a lot of inflammation when you're digesting your food. I would honestly look at your diet first before turning to medications, because sometimes medications can kind of just do a Band-Aid effect, right? They just kind of cover up but don't take care of the real problem. So it could be that certain foods cause you more distress than others. Maybe it's dairy, maybe it's sugar, maybe it's gluten. Try eliminating certain foods. You can even do the whole elimination diet where you just eliminate all the things and you slowly add different things and see what symptoms you have, what comes back. But I definitely recommend diet being your number one thing to try and control your IBS. Some of the other things you can try to treat it would be things like stress relief. Sometimes the more stressed and anxious you are, it can be really hard in your digestive system. In fact, I would say anytime you're having a lot of mental struggles mentally, so maybe you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or you're just under a lot of stress, that can have a huge impact on your physical health and your digestive system. So try to get that worked out. Try to look for ways to de-stress. Maybe you do yoga, meditation, all of those fun things. You could also work on your sleep, because sometimes when you don't get good sleep, it can totally cause problems on your digestive system. And also make sure you are exercising regularly, because exercise can really help move food through your body. It helps so many things. Exercise is just the best thing, but it can really help with some of your IBS symptoms. I've heard a lot of people who started an exercise routine and some of their IBS symptoms went away or got significantly better. And then the last thing I would recommend is taking a probiotic just to help with digestion. I've tried lots of different other supplements. I wouldn't say I've found anything that's just made the biggest difference in the world. So the only thing that I would say has made a big difference was probiotics, but you could also try different supplements, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there who will recommend supplements for you to take. Again, I haven't found any success with them with IBS, but probiotics is one that I would definitely recommend. And if you guys have any other advice for me or anyone else watching this video, would you please leave it in the comments below? We would love to hear from you, hear any of the advice you have, because you guys, I definitely don't have all the answers, and I learned so much from you guys. So make sure you guys leave me any advice you have for me or anyone else with IBS. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I hope that this was helpful and just a general overview about IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And if you want to learn any more about life with chronic illness, make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you guys next time.